Over the last year and a half, we have been talking to farmers all over the United States who are extremely upset with tariffs and the trade deals that we have going between the United States and China. Well, most everybody that we've talked to has been focused on the output side, about our grain getting exported over to China and how these tariffs have hurt the prices. Okay, I agree with that 100%, but the problem here is we can't just look at this deal as one-sided. We've got to look at what are we bringing in from China that's now getting hit with tariffs here in our country, and how is that going to raise your input costs? So today we want to talk just a little bit about how these tariffs are affecting your crop protection product pricing going forward.
Well, certainly throughout the year we hear news and information about, well, one level of this negotiation is being dealt with or agreed on, but there are several other levels to come. So we're going to see this happen in phases. The problem is business goes on. So products are coming into the country, as Brian mentioned, like many of our crop inputs, such as crop protection products. We're shipping in crop protection products every week into our country. Well, as those products come in, whatever the tariffs are at the time they get brought in is what the price of the product is going to be. I don't think we're going to retroactively go back and change a lot of these things because, hey, that product comes into our country, it goes out, and in many cases it even hits the ground on American farms. So we're concerned about crop protection prices since many of these products are being manufactured in China.
All right, so whether it's the raw materials that are coming in or it's the finished goods coming into the United States, this absolutely is having an impact because a good majority of what is used in the United States for ag chemical products is from China. So, like Darren said, it all depends on when that stuff hit the ground. And here's the reason why we're bringing this up today. 2019 was a horrible year for a lot of retailers. They have product that's left over. There were a lot of retailers that actually had been buying product up since clear back at the end of 2017 into 2018, knowing that the tariffs were coming, or at least believing the tariffs were coming. So what we're trying to say here today is there is still some product out there that was bought pre-tariff. And it seems like about every month or two, there are more tariffs that get put on more ag chemical products. So what we're saying to you today is I realize at this point, a lot of the ag chemical products have only gone up 3%, 5%, maybe 10%, but we're expecting by the time all this old product gets out of the market here in the next couple, 3 months, by next spring, most ag chemical products are going to be up 10 to 15%.
You may be thinking, well, that's probably on some old generic products that I'm not even interested in, so I don't know if this is going to be a big deal for me. You would be thinking wrong because it's going to impact some of the biggest products, and a couple of them that we should be talking about here are Roundup and Liberty.
Both Roundup and Liberty are slated, at least the active ingredients, I should say, are slated for tariffs coming up here in December. So again, we're bringing this up today because our message all fall, in fact for the last year, has been beat tariffs, buy now, buy ahead of the tariffs. Now, if you believe that we're going to get a deal worked out with China, and who knows, maybe by the time you see this, if you're seeing it a week late, you might have already known, oh, hey, there's a deal worked out with China. Personally, we don't believe a full deal is going to be complete with China for a while. And the other thing, Darren brought this up earlier, it's when it hits the ground here in the United States. So if the tariffs were on and all this product it's continually being brought in right now for the 2020 growing season, it's already got tariffs on it. Those aren't going backwards. So the earlier you buy, the better chance you have to get in on the 2017 and 2018 costs. Because if you're going to pay 2019 costs and going into 2020, we're just trying to tell you here, prices are going up. There's very little risk for you. Now, the big thing that we would say too, though, is there are some products that still have a lot of margin in them. So if the big company that is manufacturing them has 800% markup on it, does it really matter that their costs went up by $5? No, it doesn't, and they could probably absorb that. But what we're most concerned about is some of these lower price things like glyphosate, like glufosinate, that's Liberty, and a number of these generic products. They have nowhere to go but up because they were right down near costs. And now that costs are much higher, well, you're going to see costs higher reflected at your retailer.
So the key message here is to plan ahead. You know you're going to be using certain crop protection products on your farm. Check with your retailers now, see where the price levels are at, and if it's a good buy for your farm, buy it and take it home. That's the way that you can beat the tariffs. But one other thing you want to beat on your farm is our weed of the week. We'll show you how to stop this weed later in the show.